Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hello, Jason. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Now this is a tough film to do. Obviously, you've worked a lot of projects over the years. When you get a script like this, knowing what's involved, what was the attraction to saying yes?
Well, at the time, America seemed divided. I didn't realize how much more divided it was going to be. My country's hugely divided over many issues: Brexit, immigration, a whole bunch of stuff. And this is a story about people getting in a room with the people they most hate and blame for things going wrong with their life, and how we might get through that. It's a roadmap for no simple Hollywood solutions, but just human contact and not seeing each other as stereotypes and not digging ourselves ditches we can't get out of. And I felt like, A, there was nothing more important to deal with in a story, and B, I was desperate to know what happened next. I mean, it's a thriller. It's a big emotional landscape, but I wanted to know how this was going to play out. How could these people possibly find anything from this encounter? And then to find out it's based on real meetings that happen, I couldn't resist. I just was scared of messing it up, to be honest with you. It was such a great script.
We read these stories, we see it on the news when it happens, and it's a tragedy itself. Like, what sort of research did you do outside of what was on the page? Did you go back and see videos? Did you talk?
Well, actually, I don't mean to contradict you, Wilson, but I don't think that we do see this stuff in the news. This is about meetings between people. It's based as much on the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission as the meetings between aggrieved families or meetings in restorative justice. And I don't think that stuff does get a lot of air and publicity and oxygen. We've seen more glamorous, monstrous, grotesque events, but years later, when people's lives have been ruined by it, we don't see how they're attempting to deal with it. And so this story, I thought, was very unusual, to make a drama out of people trying to shed the baggage that is holding them back in life, trying to shed hatred, trying to see if you can move beyond the poison of resentment. I don't know that I ever see stories about that.
It's like a theater setting where it's all about dialogue and expressions, and you're working with the three other great actors. And, how many, I even hate to ask, like, how many takes does it take to get it right when you're at the table? And was it somebody's telling you, you got to show more empathy or less empathy so that, we, the audience, are watching you as characters?
Well, Fran's a great director, not just because he had been an actor, but because he wrote such a beautiful script that he just let it roll. What I mean by that is he would never come in and say, you've got to show more anything. He'd talk about what's really going on. He wanted it to feel completely natural and real. So it's never about what you're displaying, it's all about what you're feeling. And when a script is this good, and myself aside, when the other three actors are so believable and truthful in every moment, in some ways it's easy, because if you place yourself in the right frame of mind, acting is a crazy hard job, but it's also really easy. You just have to be another person in another situation. So if you build the foundations right, and you feel, Martha and I playing this husband and wife whose life is ground to a halt, who hate each other, we don't see each other, we go through the motions of life, but really we've taken such different paths, and we've built these thick walls around ourselves. If you build that history and come into the room and just let the script flow, it's surprisingly easy when it works. You know what's hard to do? Bad scripts with bad actors.
You talk about actors, and it's interesting, in this movie, it's the four of you. And just the other day, I'm watching Black Hawk Down, which was 50 plus
Slightly
people
different.
20 years ago. You say for the ensemble to this, which leads me to end off with, when you take on these roles, what makes you say yes?
Oh, I mean, there's a million different things. So Black Hawk Down, it was Ridley Scott. If he said, I'm making the Yellow Pages into a flicker book, I would have done it, obviously. But with Black Hawk Down, I got to go meet the soldiers and train with the Rangers in Fort Benning and reproduce this human story. There's a lot of action, but really it's a very human story. But this is the reason I became a storyteller. Stories like Mass, or there are no stories like Mass, they're so rare. Mass is the reason I became an actor, to tell stories that have value. They're both gripping and entertaining, take people on a big journey, but also add value to the world. We need to be able to see each other and make connections and be more flexible. Not, somehow be alive to human connection and listen. And that's why I do it.
That's why we support it.
Yeah.
It's good
Well,
talking to you,
thank you.
Jason. Wherever you're at, stay safe.
Thanks, man. And you.